Welcome to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower, brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now, here's your host, David Brower.
Thanks, Allan. Hi, this is David Brower with a special two-part podcast that every veteran and everybody who knows a veteran should listen to. It's about a program that is absolutely free to vets, and it will change their lives. I know, because it changed mine forever. Trevor Dann from the BBC takes you inside one of the retreats for Songwriting with Soldiers. This retreat was September 15th through 17th of last year at the Carey Institute in Rensselaerville, New York. We pick up part 2 with how the songwriting process begins.
That's the California-based singer-songwriter Maya Sharp with the song she's been writing this morning with Perry. Right now, she's in the garden with another veteran, this time a former Marine with rather more conspicuous injuries. John was a guitar player himself before he was wounded, and as Maya digs deeper, he's telling her about growing up in England.
I joined the Marine Corps because when I moved back to the United States from England, I felt like an outcast. Because it didn't feel like my home. Because everybody was like, well, you're not even from this country. And I'm like, I was born in Mississippi.
Right.
You know? I was injured in South America. And some weird thing that was going on down there.
Do you want to tell me what? You don't have to.
No, it's kind of interesting. Well, I think it's classified.
Oh. Will you have to kill me if you tell me?
I think so.
It might
I'll
be
have
worth
to figure
it.
out how.
Okay.
You like bludgeoning, stab.
All right, well, whatever you are allowed to tell me without having to bludgeon me.
Right. I was injured in an operation that was going on, and I think it was part of the drug war, and I wasn't even supposed to be there. I was accidentally locked onto the plane because I was helping a load master load the vehicles.
No.
And the master sergeant told me, all right, because I was in the front of the plane locking it down, and it's one of those transport planes. So the back was going up, and they started rolling, and I'm finishing latching everything down. She's like, all right, sit here for a minute, and then next thing you know, they took off. So that's when I got injured. Was on that mission. I had the best hand surgeon in the world. All he wanted to do was get me to close my hand and open it, and that's this arm. And they didn't look at it anything else, because I wasn't bleeding from anything else. And then eventually everything started falling apart.
How's your hand?
Well, it's got issues.
Okay.
The more I use it, it'll curl up.
Okay.
So they don't let me.
Like from fatigue and.
Yeah, I think it's more or less, but they cauterized a lot of stuff inside. They're having too much fun, I guess. Yeah, right.
Well, fortunately, that's your strumming hand. So.
I know. Well, that's what I was saying. If I have to, I'll just glue a pick to my hand or curl my thumbnail out like.
Don't do that, please.
Esteban or whatever that guy is on TV.
Right. Doesn't want to be D. Doesn't want to be drop D.
So, what's going on?
Well, how do you like the angle of thank God it was my strumming hand?
Okay.
Is that something?
Yeah, that's funny. I like it.
And it can be as detailed and dark and scary, but then that's the punchline. Like this awful thing happened. But it was my strumming hand. So
that's how
my other hand is still cool to make the chords and
that actually would be
to get the ladies.
Something I would.
I mean, you probably have a wife, so you might not want to say that, but
well, I keep giving out my name, my number to.
If you want to go there.
No, I love it because
you're really into playing.
Because when I cross the road, I keep my friends back. I'll go first. I got free medical.
Dude.
when I help somebody, sometimes I'll start bleeding from this arm. I'm like, it's okay. It's not very useful anyway. I always make fun of myself.
Yeah.
And just to make everybody else feel better.
It wants to strum a lot, right? It can't just be like. It wants to be over the top strumming, right?
Yeah.
It's just my strumming hand. The other one do all the work. It's okay. Just my strumming hand.
Is that celebrating enough? Is it funny enough? Because it can get even like more over the top, major chord. Like what after the shit you just laid on them, and then you're gonna be like, it's okay.
It's okay. Just my strumming hand. The other one do all the work. It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
I can still It's okay.
While Maya and John are working on their song, I've found Harry Allan, an academic who's here as an observer. Harry is a professor of law and also an expert on neuroscience.
The psychology of post-traumatic stress is very often described in terms of cognitive distortions. So a person who's had a trauma very often thinks the world is a dangerous place, and often thinks that other people are bad, and often thinks that I am bad. And the engagement with songwriting is a full frontal attack on those cognitive distortions, because you don't believe after you've written a song that the world is a dangerous place, and you don't believe that other people are bad, and it's hard to believe that you yourself are bad. So by attacking those cognitive distortions, we help to heal people. And in terms of the biology, the creative act plays upon something that's a part of everyday experience of everyone with deep evolutionary origins, and that is the fact that some things we do spontaneously and some things we do deliberately with great care. And artistic acts require spontaneity and deliberateness. There's improvisation and there's craft and revision. And to be able to engage with that cycle of spontaneity and deliberateness is to connect with something very human. And when that breaks down and people ruminate and they can't be spontaneous, it's a diminishment of their humanity. They don't flourish. And when they can connect with that spontaneity and deliberateness, they can appreciate beauty in themselves and other people in a deeper and in a different way.
Roger, tell me how you found songwriting with soldiers. What was your first experience?
I've known for a long time I've needed some sort of help. A lot of times the VA doesn't come through with that. And
the VA is the?
Veterans Administration, Veterans Hospitals, and they're not the most fantastic places to go or the best care in the world, but sometimes it's all a veteran has. But as far as stress and depression and everything, we had high hopes for Songwriting with Soldiers, and when we came, they were definitely met.
Tell me about what you feel they've done. I mean, I talked to Josh earlier, and, you know, he and Lisa, his wife, were saying that really he was lost and now he's found. It was that profound an experience.
Oh, absolutely. It was for me as well. At the time, I've had constant problems with PTSD and depression over the years, and sometimes didn't feel like I was the best father, and sometimes, you know, stress would permeate the family. And
Street, that's what they call us.
my wife and I weren't getting along all that well and everything, and when we came to songwriting, I mean, my family wrote 2 songs together as a family with Greg Trooper, and it brought us even closer as a family.
Those we know love us. We're not afraid.
It was just an amazing experience that probably saved my life because I was in a bad place at the time, and definitely I can say probably saved my family.
Home. Anywhere we're together.
Roger, you're a big guy, you look like a soldier, but you walk with a stick. What happened?
I suffered a really bad back injury when I was in the military. I was in the Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Southern Watch, and you know, basically since then, I've felt lost a lot of the time. You know, felt like the military no longer needed me, so they basically threw me away.
Pain, we've suffered through it. Love wins out every time. For some, it's hard to uncover. With a family like ours, it's easy to find.
I'm actually singing on that one. It's called Strayed.
Strayed.
Our family name and the name of our family ballad.
That's what they call us.
Let's go back to the garden now and hear how Maya and John are getting on.
Our job was to provide security, and we were there to die. So that's what they tell you in boot camp. It's just funny. That's the Marines for you.
Are you comfortable talking about what happened to that arm?
I've been told by a major I got hit by a high explosive round. There's so much blood everywhere. It was on a ship,
Oh, really?
a riverine assault craft.
Did you even see it on its way?
No, it was just
there.
all of a sudden there was commands for evasive action, and it was super, everything all of a sudden just went chaos. And then boom, it was over. You're just in a fast craft, moving along, skipping across the top of the water, and all of a sudden it's like you could barely make out that you're in the water.
That black.
Yeah, it was dark.
What if we got some musical references and like As Dark as the Dark Side of the Moon? Just like squeeze in some song titles where we can, because you're coming from such a just want to play music place.
Right.
1 o'clock in the morning, darker than the dark side of the moon.
It hits you square in the arm, huh?
Yeah. No, just bones exploded.
Keep talking like that if you can.
My bones actually exploded. They said throughout my arm they were taking pieces out, and then my hand was still attached to the skin, but the skin had unraveled over the bones. You know what I mean? And it was hanging down by my elbow. So it was just like, you know.
Jesus.
I had no idea that bones exploded. Your skin could act that way.
Would you mind if I like
That a boat could
just mold this over for a while? Just like
No, absolutely.
under a tree for like 15 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Just to
whatever
like
you want.
We'll hear the finished song in a minute, and you can listen to dozens more on the SWS website. But as this particular retreat comes to an end, I'm struck by how far away this place is from the bellicose and uncharitable mood of so much of what we associate with the United States these days. Technically, what's going on here isn't music therapy, but there's no doubt that the veterans find the experience therapeutic. And the presence here of so many previous participants here to help the new guys suggests that it has lasting value. As the final concert ends and all the songs are performed, how are the organisers feeling? Mary Judd and first Darden Smith.
At the end of a retreat, you have this combination of exhaustion and extreme joy. 10, 11 songs that didn't exist 3 days ago are now here. And then the feeling of getting the emotion back from the participants, watching them change over the course of the 3 days, watching the writers change, it's amazing. So it's exhilarating, exhausting, and there's nothing like it.
One of the vets just said to me, I'm a different man now than I was on Friday.
Well, I think there's something very mysterious about this process that I don't know. We've heard similar thoughts to that, and what's fascinating to me is the body language changes. The people that were sort of closed up, maybe they were starting the writing sessions literally kind of hunched over. At the end of the writing sessions, they'll be standing up straight. And there's something that's released in this, and it's I think it's the being seen. Being seen and heard is the magical thing. We all want that. But in this action, not only are they seen and heard, but we've taken what we've seen and heard and with them created a song That's their words, and that is a very powerful thing.
Mary, can you see a possibility of extending the program into Britain, into other countries around the world?
That's our dream. Songwriting with soldiers, songwriting with all sorts of groups, but ideally in other parts of the world. Can you imagine the effect of that? I just cannot imagine the beautiful reverberation that would come out of these retreats on a global scale. It's going to happen. It has to happen.
They sewed me back together, but it'll never be the same. Still, I don't waste a moment thinking who should take the blame. I had Panama and Paris and Carolina on my side. Oh, at least a dozen doctors tried. I know they tried. It's okay. It's just my strumming hand. All the other one does all the work. If I couldn't play Cashmere or Preacher Man, now that would hurt. It was a bad day, but it's okay. It's just my strumming hand.
So, John, what do you think of the song now you've heard it?
It was brilliant. It wasn't what I expected. It went a totally different direction, and it captured the way I feel and act, crossing the humor to hide the pain. So it was amazing.
Oh, the other one does all the work. If I couldn't play, stand by your man. Now that would hurt. It was a bad day, but it's okay. It's just my strumming.
That's part 2 of Songwriting with Soldiers with Trevor Dann from the BBC. To learn more, go to songwritingwithsoldiers.org. These retreats are absolutely free to vets, and it will change their lives. I know, because it changed mine forever.
Your 20-minute podcast with David Brower has been brought to you by Audible. You can listen to any of David's podcasts anywhere podcasts can be found, including iHeartRadio, the Spotify mobile app, and at davidbrowervo.com/your20-minute podcast. Until next time, thanks for listening.